Join our vision. Your gift to Clovernook supports our 5 key initiatives: Tactile Literacy, Ohio Regional Braille Challenge, Arts and Accessibility, Pediatric Low Vision Clinic, and Youth Adaptive Sports and Leisure Program.
Hey B, at the end of the last show, I asked you if you finished your holiday shopping. We're 12 days out before one of the biggest holidays of the year. You got it done yet?
Now, you know me, I'm a huge procrastinator.
Well, that's all right. Stay tuned to today's show because we're going to show you and everyone else how to have your best bold BVI holiday yet.
The following are images of the Clovernook campus in Cincinnati, Ohio. Clovernook's logo, the boldly BVI logo.
Welcome to another episode of Boldly BVI. Happy holidays to everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in with us again. I am Brian Anderson, Arts and Accessibility Coordinator at Clovernook Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. I am wearing a red sweatshirt that says work hard, play hard, and it also is represented in Braille as well.
So I'm Stephanie Jones, Technology and Accessibility Coordinator for Clovernook Center. And today I have on a bluish green hoodie that has the words love in a square pattern. So L, the clover represents the O, VE on the second level, and then of course spelled out in Braille. And if you're interested in finding out more information about these sweatshirts, stay tuned because we're going to tell you how you can order your own Clovernook spirit wear.
Excellent, excellent. So, Stephanie, we have a million things that we could talk about on Boldly BVI, but you came up with a wonderful idea about, making your holiday accessible for your blind and visually impaired loved one. What was it that helped you come up with that idea?
Well, B, I can't take credit for it. I was sitting in my office one day and got a phone call from an aunt who was frantic because she said her 5-year-old nephew was coming to her house for the first time for the holidays and he's blind. And she didn't know how to include him in some of the family celebrations that they had planned, but we were able to talk through it. And the table represents some of the ideas that we talked about that are great ideas for individuals who are blind or visually impaired to have accessible gifts or holidays. And then we've got some others that we're going to talk about today too.
All right, well, stay tuned. We have a wonderful show on tap for you, and we'll get right into it.
So B, why do you think people find that it's hard to be inclusive of those who are blind or visually impaired in holiday celebrations or even in gift giving?
Well, you have to really think about it, especially from the perspective of you and I. We are so independent on a normal basis. We are always exceeding expectations. So sometimes the things that we truly need and want can get overlooked because people are so used to us kind of, going with the grain and making things work. And, when it comes to things like gift giving, sometimes we can just receive a gift that is non-accessible, that we can't read, that we can't see because people are just so used to us,
I know, I love that. And then at the same time, I think holidays are such a visual thing. We always talk about the sights and the sounds of a holiday.
Absolutely.
But why not think about the senses of the holiday?
Mm-hmm.
So that means smells,
Yes.
the tastes of a holiday celebration, or even what you touch or feel.
Yes.
So we're talking about including all of the senses. So if one might be lacking, let's fill it in with something else, right?
Yes.
So we've got some of our friends here from Clovernook who are going to help us talk about what have been some of their best gifts, their worst gifts, and maybe some gifts they like to receive on their next occasion. So let's check it out.
The best gift that I've received at the holidays, and people in Cincinnati won't like this, was a Pittsburgh Steelers football jersey when I was a child.
A whole entire drum set.
An air fryer.
Probably a cedar chest.
Why?
For me, it's a way to think about what I want to set aside for the future.
One of the best gifts that I ever received was from my wife. It was a talking Bible.
I always like it when I get good, yummy, healthy snacks.
The best gift is probably my crock pot.
A Nintendo Switch.
The worst gift that I received was when my parents made a mistake and gave me my sister's gift, which was a set of curling irons. And that just doesn't help me much.
A bed jacket.
Probably a print book because I'm no longer able to read print.
Probably too much candy, though.
All right.
The number one gift that will always be on my holiday wish list, even after I've received it, is a dozen donuts.
Amazing.
A studio that will be oriented for the visually impaired, and I like to put a few songs together.
Every Lego set.
Electric blanket.
A Apple iPad or phone so that I can be more independent since I'm blind.
A KitchenAid mixer because I do a lot of baking and I think that would help me in baking some nice goodies.
How about a banjo?
Okay. Why do you want a banjo?
Oh, I like the way it sounds.
Currently, right now, one thing I'm thinking about is a 6-dot label maker. That it automatically makes labels in Braille and you can put them on anything, and something like that would be really great.
All the money in the world, take everything in the whole wide world.
There you go. All right.
So, Stephanie, that was very interesting to kind of hear from some staff on, some of their best and worst. So, what about you? What has been the best accessible gift that you received around the holidays?
So one of the things that my children gave me, they wanted something that I could feel. So they went to the Pandora store because they know I had this Pandora bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't a charm with Braille on it, but they explained that they needed something that was tactile. So my charm spells out the word mom, M-O-M, and I can feel each of the letters. And it's a great thing because at the end of the day, when I may be stressed or something and I need to just be centered, I can feel my M-O-M and always know that it came from them.
I love
What
that.
about you? What would you say?
Well, I just love how sentimental that is. Kudos to your kids. For me, I always think back to being a teenager. And in my house, reading the Bible was such a big deal. But as you know, a lot of Bibles are in very tiny print. It's impossible to read. You're straining your eyes. So one of the best gifts I ever received is when my godmother bought me a large print Bible. It made things a lot easier to see. My eyes weren't hurting me after reading. I was able to, really get an understanding because reading isn't just for reading, it's to understand. And so having something that I'm able to see, I didn't even know that large print Bibles existed at the time. So, with that being said, we have this big box here. Let's set the scene and build an accessible gift to give someone.
All right, I love it. So you talked about setting the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be from the gift wrapping.
Mm-hmm.
There's actual Braille wrapping paper. You can use tactile elements on a gift so that someone knows it's there. So this one has a ribbon on the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a big bow on the top that we'll finish it off with. But at the same time, there's other elements. So what about an ornament that's tactile, that you can feel?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that this is an ornament for a person with the letter R that starts their name. And so what ornament doesn't need a holiday stocking, again, with this embroidered R on it, so I can feel it and know whose stocking it is. You don't want to be going in the wrong stocking, right?
Right.
I know. So
I
we're going
mean,
to add those to our box.
And this is something that the average person may not, they may overlook it. They may not even think about it. Just it's something as simple as being able to touch, it's such a beautiful thing.
Yep. So what else do we have?
Okay. So we have here an iPad to where, tech. Let's talk about tech. We're living in a time now to where everything is based off of technology. So, who doesn't want an amazing iPad as a gift that also has voiceover, it has large print, things with sound where you can play different games and,
But But I'll give you one better. When you give someone some new tech, why not set up a training session or a specialized setup session to help get them started with their new device? Clovernook has started some tech labs once a month to help our kiddos with blindness and visual impairment so that they can come and get great specialized help so that they can be awesome in the classroom with their technology. How about that?
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, if you're talking tech, there's a lot to go with that. You got to remember the accessories, the headphones.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. The keyboard, I mean, just amazing contrast, to be able to see those keys to type.
And don't forget about cases and things that will help keep it protected, because we're not buying these for them to drop and break later on.
Now, no one who is blind or visually impaired or anybody wants to be cooped up in a house. I mean, yes, cooking dinner is amazing, but what are some gifts that, someone could receive if they want to just, go out?
Well, as a busy mom, and you know this too as a busy dad, there are some nights when I don't feel like cooking. So some type of food delivery service. What about a restaurant gift card? So we're going to add that in there. But how are we getting there?
Yeah. So we have rideshare gift cards. I mean, for me personally, and for you as well.
Oh, no.
I mean, this is literally at the top, at least top 5 in gifts that I've ever received, because it eliminates the barrier of having to depend on someone else to get you there. You're in a position where you are able to be independent. You are able to, book your ride and come and go as you please.
That's right. And you don't have to say anything to anybody else to do it.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, Steph, we talked about, the sensory as far as the stocking and the ornament and things like that. We also talked about, if we want to go out and, some of the great gifts for that. But what about if you want to stay in for family game night? Why don't you let us know what would be some great accessible gifts for family game night?
So, any night can be game night. You just don't have to wait for the holidays. What about Braille or Uno playing cards? You can find on Phase 10 all your favorite games, and there's usually a large print or Braille version of that.
And who doesn't love Uno?
I was gonna say.
We also have here Bop It, which is one of the greatest games for someone who is blind or visually impaired, because it's all about touch and feel, twist it and spin it. I mean, you don't need sight to be able to play it.
There you go. Let's add that. And you want to be comfortable when you're doing all this. So think fuzzy, soft, tactile pajamas, or just clothing that you're wearing around the table. Weighted blankets are great. But if you don't want to drag your weighted blanket around, what about a weighted stuffed animal like this pug here? I mean, and then that way you still have that without having to carry the blanket.
Well, you spoke about the table, and when we're talking about the table, nothing better than a table game of Jenga. I mean, I get real competitive with playing this game, but this isn't just any Jenga game. This is an extra large Jenga, which makes it a lot easier for someone who is blind or visually impaired. The regular Jenga is kind of small and you can easily knock it over by mistake just if you don't know your hand placement. Well, these are bigger, they're heavier, so they're not gonna fall over as easy, which makes it easier for you and I to be able to participate.
That's right. But at the end of the day, we always wanted those Barbie dolls and those G.I. Joes that kind of reflected us.
Yes.
So the first blind Barbie has been released. She has her white cane and her glasses, and she is stylishly dressed just like we all should. So she's living boldly, BVI, don't you think?
I love it.
She's going in the box.
I love it. Well, when it comes to staying in, I mean, who doesn't love that nice aroma in the air? Who doesn't love candles? I mean, it's literally one of the best gifts. It's a universal gift. Anybody can benefit from a candle. So yeah, what about a candle? But we had a conversation about this recently, and sometimes in the blind and visually impaired community, you can feel like you're the only one who's experiencing something that is a challenge. And so one day I remember calling Stephanie and I asked her, just simple question. How do you light a candle? I mean, when you're lighting candles, it can be dangerous to someone who can't see. It can be challenging to find a wick and things like that. So why don't we just eliminate that with a candle warmer? It makes life a lot easier. All you have to do is plug it in, set that candle on there, and just let the aroma.
Just let it go.
Yes.
But you know what, B? Some of the best aromas come from the kitchen, right? Because we talked about the taste of the holiday. And who doesn't like to walk into
You can't leave that out.
Right. So who doesn't like to walk into a house that's smelling good from the kitchen? But there's some things that can keep us safe in the kitchen. Silicone mitts that can even go past your wrist all the way up to your arm, to your elbow.
No one wants to get burned.
No one wants to get burned, but I got even better. Silicone oven rack protectors. Put them on there, so even if for some reason my arm isn't covered by the mitt, when I put my arm in the oven, let's say I moved too quickly, it doesn't matter. I've hit the silicone. And when I open the oven for someone who might be low vision, this means that there's some contrast in the ovens, so that I know where it is. There's other great tools, such as slap choppers, cutters that have blade safety, like a cover on it so that my hand can't come in contact. So when you're in the kitchen, you can think about all these great tools. And, next year we'll be doing a show on cooking while blind or visually impaired.
I love it. And last point to that, there are also other type of accessible gifts like, stickers or things like that you could put on a microwave, where it can be Braille stickers. It can be large print stickers. You can stick on the oven, and things like that. So there are so many different gifts that you can get that accentuate the taste, the smell, the feel, and the sound. So that even though we may not have the best sight, we can still enjoy a bold, blind, and visually impaired holiday.
All right, Brian, we got a pretty full box, but I think there's even more we can put in there. What about an accessible business card? Scan that QR code and you're ready to go. So we're going to add that.
Lock that contact right on in.
That's right.
And then, what about a real unique gift? Looks kind of like me, doesn't it? It is a 3D bust of myself. I mean, it was even able to scan my locks and everything, so how about that to sit on your shelf? I mean, I'm sure everybody will want one of me.
But you can make an appointment to come get your own 3D bust scanned and create it so you can give it as a unique holiday gift.
I love it.
We've got a pretty full gift. So I think it's time to
go ahead and put the lid on there.
Put the lid on that and call that a wrap.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you can always add tactile bows, ribbons, gift tags on the outside so that someone can easily find their gift under the tree or shoes or anywhere else, right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes there's some gifts that don't fit in a box.
Why don't you talk about some of them?
Well, let's start with adaptive sports. Clovernook hosts a week-long camp abilities. That's a full week of rock climbing, goal ball, tennis, all programming created for those who are blind or visually impaired for our kiddos. Imagine what a great gift as a grandparent to gift your child that for a week, or your neighbor's child, or just anybody's child, who wouldn't want a week of adaptive sports?
Absolutely. Got
anything that you can add to it?
Well, before I add that, especially, you talk about the camp abilities. It's the summertime, have those kids get out there and be active. Clovernook really has some amazing programs, that I've even gotten to be a part of. And on top of that, you can also send in a donation to Clovernook Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired on our website, clovernook.org. We are global. We are providing services to individuals all over the globe, everywhere. From our pediatric low vision clinic, our adaptive sports and leisure program, which we just touched on, also our accessible prints. We produce over 30 million Braille pages a year in our Braille print house, also arts and accessibility, which I am a part of, and the Braille Challenge, which is amazing for the kiddos. So, Stephanie?
One of my favorite gifts was when someone actually made a donation in my honor to Clovernook. So that's an idea, but lots of ways you're keeping programs like Boldly BVI and the information that we're sharing out. Make sure that it's giving out to millions of people across the nation everywhere. Right?
Absolutely. So if you want to donate to Boldly BVI, if you want to see many more episodes, which we plan to bring to you, don't hesitate to send us a donation. It would be amazing.
You can also rock your own Clovernook spirit wear. So make sure you stay tuned to get the QR code so that you can place your order with one of these two designs or some of the others that we feature on our website.
You would definitely want to get your hands on one of these. They're very comfortable.
I know.
Yes, I can wear it all day, so I'll definitely be getting mine.
There you go.
So remember, Boldly BVI cannot grow unless you all like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Everything is word of mouth today. We want to continue to bring you these stories, to tell these stories, and we're going to have some amazing things on tap for next year, Stephanie. So why don't you give us a quick little preview on what's to come in 2025 for Boldly BVI?
Well, we've got to kick it off with Braille Challenge season.
Absolutely.
So check out our next episode on Wednesday, February the 19th, our celebration of Braille Challenge as we get ready for our competitions themselves. But at the same time, what about adaptive sports? Going in depth with that.
Yes.
Blind cooking. How about that?
Sounds good.
Let's put out some information for TVIs and parents on 3D printing.
Yes.
Not just your bus, but how could we use this in the classroom?
Yes.
And then there's always more stories to explore with employment, tech opportunities. How are we making these things happen? So I can't wait. 2025 will be great.
It is going to be an amazing year. From all of us at Clovernook Center and Boldly BVI, happy holidays. We encourage you to continue to live your best, bold, blind, and visually impaired life.
Clovernook Spirit Wear. T-shirts, long and short sleeved, sweatshirts, and hoodies. Prices $14 to $30. Camp Abilities Clovernook's Adaptive Sports. Give camp to a child. June 22nd to 27th, 2025. $500. Tax deductible. Contact Kelly Lusk, klusk@clovernook.org. Clovernook Center presents Boldly BVI, presented by Clovernook Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Share your feedback, comments, and questions to boldlybvi@clovernook.org. Boldly BVI appreciates and acknowledges co-hosts Brian Anderson and Stephanie Jones, creative team, Cassie Israel, logo design, Becca Shaw, videographer, Oviante Magsby, music composition, Anne-Marie Lusk, voiceover/audio description, Helen Fernetti, graphic design, Boldly BVI Committee, and Veer Communications. Clovernook Makerspace, Clovernook Accessible Print. To support Boldly BVI or other Clovernook Center programs, please visit https://clovernook.org/. Clovernook Center presents Boldly BVI, Clovernook Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired.